You see, there have been quite a bit of innuendos about ADANI, and I've explained that this is a reputable company, by my knowledge. And this company actually has done very many PPP projects. I mentioned that we visited.
In a land where hope is often overshadowed by betrayal, the story of Raila Odinga captivates and confuses many Kenyans. Once seen as a champion for the people, Odinga now finds himself at the center of controversy for supporting the ADANI deal to take over Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. This shift has left many feeling lost and betrayed, questioning whether the man they once trusted is still fighting for them or has become part of a system that exploits them.
Former Prime Minister Raila Odinga has defended the public-private partnerships by the government, including the proposed takeover of the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport by the ADANI Group.
That's right. Now, speaking in Mombasa, Odinga says the country is in dire need of infrastructure upgrade, with no resources from the exchequer, leaving the PPPs as the only option.
And as Stephen Leto reports, Odinga says there is still no sufficient PPP framework to safeguard Kenyans' interests under private investors.
You see, there have been quite a bit of innuendos about ADANI, and I've explained that this is a reputable company, by my knowledge. And this company actually has done very many PPP projects. I mentioned that we visited India at the invitation of then Chief Minister of State of Gujarat, Narendra Modi. And he introduced us to several Indian conglomerates. ADANI was one of them. One was Mr. Ratan Tata, who was also there at the conference that we attended. And then we visited a project that was done through a PPP by ADANI in a place called Mundra. This was a marsh land next to the sea, 5,000 hectares of land, which was granted to the ADANIs by the government of Mr. Modi. They drained the swamp and constructed a deep sea port to import coal from Indonesia. And then they put up a power plant, coal-fired, 4,600 megawatts in that place. The Tata Group then also came and put up another second power plant, another 4,600 megawatts, a total of 9,200 megawatts of power in that same spot only. Not only that, they also built a railway line, 100 kilometers, to connect that port to the major railway network. A sleeping village of 5,000 people mushroomed to become a town of 200,000 people, as many industries rushed to go and invest in that place. They also built an airport in that same place. This was a real success story of a PPP. Then also the Bombay airport, which had been fly-infested international airport. When it was given through PPP, they took it over and converted it into a very modern, first-class airport today, it is today. The same thing with the airport in Delhi. So what I'm trying to say is that we've seen firsthand what some of these companies are able to do, what PPP can do to an economy. And therefore what I'm trying to say is not to try to ostracize PPP as a concept. It's a concept that has worked very well around the world. And I'm also saying that there need to be transparency in dealing with these issues. Otherwise, you're likely to try to condemn very reputable companies. As we see stories like ADANI Gate, ADANI company conglomerate is worth over $200 billion. It cannot be an ADANI gate. Deal with issues as they are. If some people have made mistakes, let them own up that they made some mistakes. But do not begin to condemn innocent companies who are basically doing normal commercial transactions.
For years, Raila Odinga stood up for the voiceless and alleged corrupt leaders. He was the voice of the marginalized, fighting against the unfair selling of national assets. His image as a defender of the people made him a beacon of hope. But now, as he teams up with President William Ruto, that image is fading. By backing the ADANI deal, which many believe threatens Kenya's economic interests, he has raised alarms among his supporters.
Sasa wametangaza wanataka kuuza mashirika ya serikali. Moja yao ni ile shirika ya kusafirisha mafuta, Kenya Pipeline Corporation, nataka kuuza, na National Oil Corporation. Kenya Pipeline Corporation ikienda kwa mkono ya watu binafsi, bei mafuta taenda hata mara 100 hapo. KPC is a strategic investment that should not be sold under any circumstances. Lakini wao wanataka kuuza sasa. Mimi nitaongea juu ya hiyo hivi karibuni. Lakini kwa sasa leo mimi nataka niambie nyinyi ati mjitayarishe. Vile tunaona mambo hapa itakuwa vile tulikuwa nataka. Tena mimi nataka sasa nichukue nafasi hii nitoa shukrani kwenu nyinyi wa Kisii. Tuliposema mjitokeze ati wanafanya nyoko mlitoka kwa wengi sana.
The trust he built over the years is now crumbling. Many Kenyans feel a deep sense of betrayal. Odinga's recent actions seem to go against everything he once fought for. He now appears to support policies that many believe will hurt ordinary citizens in favor of foreign profits. This change has sparked a feeling of hopelessness among those who once believed in him, leading men to wonder if only divine intervention can rescue them from this political turmoil. The political landscape in Kenya is shifting, and so are the loyalties of its leaders. Odinga's push for the ADANI deal raises questions about his true intentions. Is he really looking out for the people, or is he trying to secure more power for himself? His critics argue that his desire for influence has overshadowed his commitment to justice, leaving the people feeling abandoned.
We are aware that there are a lot of bribes being exchanged for these companies to get jobs here. And that is it. There's nothing much that will come out. Bribes.
How much?
In billions.
To who?
To some of these political party leaders. And that's why you find that they are able to fight for it. That's why you find strategic.
Leaders. Who are you talking about?
I am talking about Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto.
They have been bribed?
They have been bribed by the ADANI company.
How much? Where was that arrived at?
Well, I don't want to give so much details right now. I'll do it at the right forum in the House. We'll also
you have
do
evidence
it
that actually they received money?
There are bribes, and there are brokers involved. So that's why these companies have been given direct procurements. It's not that there are no other better companies in the world who can do a better deal.
So if the Ketraco deal is worth 95.6 billion shillings, how much is going to Raila Odinga, how much is going to William Ruto?
They know how much they received out of the deal.
Sorry?
They know how much they received. That's why Opio Wandai is the Minister for Energy. That's why the CS for Energy. It is very well choreographed.
He just came in. The process started.
You know,
yeah.
ADANI is one of the big Indian companies. And Raila Odinga has admitted that he knew these companies up to 2010 when he was Prime Minister. And it was one of the companies sponsoring his campaign so that he becomes president in 2012.
Is that so?
These are some of the companies. So it's a bigger plot.
That's a very serious allegation.
Yes, they are. And that's why there's no procurement. If everything was to be serious, everything should have been on the table. Different companies should have been allowed to compete for the same jobs. How come they are direct procurements?
ADANI Group was sponsoring Azimio campaigns.
No, it wasn't Azimio those days. They sponsored the presidential campaign of Raila Odinga.
Which election?
2012.
2013.
There was a code there. There was a code movement.
Kalonzo Musyoka was the running mate.
Yeah, Kalonzo was part of the code.
It was part of it.
So
these are old. These are I don't have the exact amounts, but you know campaigns are funded by different people.
You're certain about what you're saying?
Person, you know the campaigns, the presidential campaign is owned by a lot of foreigners, a lot of times. It's owned by businessmen, a lot of times.
As political drama unfolds, like this recent impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, many Kenyans are left wondering who they can trust. They crave leaders who genuinely care for their welfare, not those who play games for personal gain. The growing distrust in Odinga reflects a larger issue in Kenyan politics, the need for authentic representation and accountability. Despite the turmoil, Kenyans are beginning to recognize that they must take charge of their future. The disappointment in their leaders has sparked a sense of resilience among the people. They understand that real change can only come when they demand better from their politicians. The journey toward a fairer and more just Kenya may be challenging, but it is a journey worth pursuing. As Raila Odinga navigates this complex political landscape, the voices of ordinary Kenyans must not be ignored. They are ready to rise above the betrayals of their leaders and seek a brighter future for themselves and their children. The fight for a better Kenya continues, fueled by the hope that one day their leaders will truly represent their best interests. In this crucial moment, the people are looking for authenticity, honesty, and a leader who will stand with them, not against them. This is Stephen, GC News.